Do we get a car for doing the show? Trying to sample?
No, that's the old days where you got a refrigerator for...
Gary Moore gave me $1 once. I was a kid. I answered a question in his audience, 10 years old.
Yeah?
Oh, I was so disappointed. He gave me $1. I went, $1? Where's the luggage? Where's the dinner for two?
$1? I'd take that up with him now. I think he probably still owes you something.
Oh, I don't remember.
That was funny, that stuff about New York and all. Are you living in the city now, or have you chucked it?
No, I'm still. Last time we talked about that, and I asked you. I knew you had a certain fondness for New York, more than a fondness, but you say less and less so. I know, we were talking about it.
Yeah, there's certain things about it that still thrill me, you know. I mean, you've got to see it and all that.
Well, we're different in the sense, though, that I was born and raised in it. It's tougher to shuck that, you know?
Can't imagine what that'd be like.
Well, a concrete world. Sometimes it's not as rough as it appeared, except that the constant noise and motion of the city. I had a chance at some rurality. I went to school in a very remote place in New York State called Alfred, New York. And
hello, I'm Alfred.
It was Alfred University, which was Alfred University is the kind of thing that one person claps for it very quickly after they've been...
Right.
It was a good experience for me because it was an incredibly rural place, and coming from the Bronx originally to go there was a real, revelation. And the first thing I noticed is that they made fun of the way I spoke.
Sure, you must have talked like...
Exactly. Hey, you talk. He talks like talk, New York, talk. And of course there was nothing unusual about their talk. Hey, my father gave me $1 to get married.
Is that what...
I'm getting married next Saturday, and my father is so upset about, just so he come from Castle Raga. Hey, Bab, 4 years they called me, I didn't know who they were talking to. Hey, Bab.
Bab?
Bab, and they made fun of me. And I was so uptight that I actually adapted my speech to theirs in order to belong, not to get eyes. That was enough,
Yeah.
And I used to, can I have a pound of butter, please? I used to talk just like that. I actually put on a kind of rural accent for them.
To camouflage.
To camouflage and feel one of them. But I went young, and I don't know. I skipped a year in New York. Plus, because of my birthday, I peculiarly went to college when I was 16. And I had gone to an all-boys school in New York City, DeWitt Clinton High School. So, right. You can always tell them they're very classy on the street, Hey, lady! Perhaps you've seen them, yes. But it was a dreadful thing to go to school, to an all-boys school. And then suddenly, after 3 years, because I had gone to junior high, to be in a classroom with women, I couldn't keep my mind on my work. Bobby socks were in there. I remember I used to go... I just, it was stupid. I couldn't focus, and it was terrible. The first day, I went up to this play. I'd been away at summer camp, so I wasn't crying for my mother or anything, but, you feel strange in this green paint, and there are always, in every college dormitory, there's always a picture of some old geezer, 1864, up on the wall there, and a lot of them, and the guy who put the money up for the dorm or something. And I remember I went to say hello to my neighbor next door, and he just said, wait a minute, he was busy putting up a swastika mobile hanging from his light bulb, and I said, it's going to be a happy 4 years.
Felt real at home, eh?
And I remember the dean said something like, well, Bab, everyone is entitled to their, something. Anyway, we settled it finally, and he could goose step between 7 and 9, and I could study between. Scary little things.
Do you ever find out who the old geezer is in those paintings? It's true that there's always that, and there's always the painting in every grade school I ever was in, and I moved around a bit. There was, what is that painting of the guy with the plow and his wife? And that's in every...
Oh, American Gothic?
No, not that. Well, that too, the pitchfork. That's
yeah.
There's it's a dark old painting, and there's this poor old guy and his wife and the plow. And every school I went, that painting followed me. I used to think that they moved it around. That and some Roman ruins. It's supposed to be good for you as a kid to see some Roman ruins up on the wall in a painting. I don't know why.
Well, who has most of them? I went to the Yale Drama School after that, and in which you took many courses. You were an undergraduate.
Well, I wasn't actually I was an undergraduate.
I know, you took a lot. They remembered you very well when I was there. Dick Cavett, oh. But, that was a lot different. They had more pictures of old geezers in that school.
So they had they have a greater geezer ratio there than other schools.
The geezer ratio, it's one of your...
Yeah.
Listen, there's an interesting thing about language. It can be a bond, too. I have this wonderful girlfriend. See, she's from Atlanta, Georgia. And our parents met through I was doing Candide at the Kennedy Center in Washington, you know, the Leonard Bernstein opera. And they came down to see it, and her parents coincidentally came up at the same time, and so they met, and we were sitting around, and I thought, what could Ben Klein, my father, who sells textiles, have in common with her family? Her father's a professor, and they're from Atlanta, Georgia. And it came in the area of language. They both say foist.
Of course.
He said, well, Mr. Klein, I think the first thing we ought to do is order here. It's a good restaurant. My father said, I think the first thing we ought to do is sit down and get to know each other. And he said, well, I certainly feel that, you know, it's funny how language can bring people together.
That's the Oliver Hardy. That's the Oliver Hardy sound.
The Georgia and South Carolina foist.
Oliver Hardy, of Laurel and Hardy. Let me do it first.
Yeah.
First.
Let me do it first.
I'm not your servant.
Servant?
That's Oliver Hardy. How many knew that? 4. We have to take a message. We'll be right back. Yeah, okay. Come back. We'll all be here.